Hi, this is Diana Rankin. How are you out there? I trust everyone is doing well today. These are some messages and for your soul and your human life messages. I call them psychic soul messages. And I'm Diana Rankin. I'm not sure if I just said that or not. This is for the week of March 5th to the 11th. I want to breathe. And I think that's going to be extremely important this week, to breathe. There's going to be a lot going on. As I mentioned, if you haven't seen the March for the month, those messages, and by the way, I do give some predictions. I never know how they're going to come out, or how subtle they're going to be, or how strong. I don't like to make harmful predictions that keep people in fear and worry. That's not my style. But this week, it's going to be a week of a lot of turmoil. And those of you who are sensitive to the energies that are around us, you're going to have to protect yourself. How do we do that? I can't tell you how many calls from clients or people who have been to my programs or workshops that people are calling and saying, I can't even go in a grocery store. I can't go out in public. I'm scared. I am feeling all this horribleness and I don't know what's going on. Well, what's happening, my friends, is you're feeling a lot of the energy, and we are in an energetic time of turmoil. And this week, we're going to feel that. We're going to feel that tugging back and forth, that butting of heads. It is extremely important that we stay in that place of love. Let me explain that a little bit deeper. I had some comments on last week's video, or it may have been the one for the month. I'm not sure now. I'm not real sophisticated on YouTube, and other than getting the videos out, I'm still learning how to respond and how responses come and how responses are answered, and I'm still learning all of that. So bear with me and forgive me for not being a 20-year-old techie who knows everything about technology. So do even some 40-year-olds, but I'm well past all of those ages, so I'm still learning about technology. And I divert here. What I don't want to see is arguments on, I love your comments. I read everyone. I do my best to respond to everyone. But I've seen some arguments and they're not going to help us. Certainly express your opinion. If you differ with me, okay, but do it in a kind way, please. But especially if you differ with people who make a comment, adding to that anger isn't going to help us. We must add love, and I can't stress that strongly enough. Love is not about keeping our heads in the sand. Love is about recognizing what's going on in our human lives and responding from the deeper self. Back in around 2015, later in the year or somewhere around there, it's been several months now, maybe even, it's been well over a year and maybe even more like a year and a half, I honestly don't remember. I started seeing a penumbra around our world. Now, what is that? I think that might even be a scientific or an artist's term. It's just a term that's been in my head for many, many years. A penumbrum. If you imagine a globe, the planet, it's the globe. So imagine that, and then imagine like another globe, like almost like a shadow, but greater than a shadow, that's around the globe. It's like we are creating a second world. When I first saw this, it became in the dream time. And those ideas or those visions that come to us in the dream time do so because they've been trying to get through in our awakening hours and we haven't allowed them to get through for whatever reason. So it came in the dream time and it kept coming back and coming back and coming back. And finally, it came back in the daytime. I was open enough to see it. Well, it started to come back lately, and I'd forgotten about it. I recognized it at the time, looked at what it meant, and then I walked away from it. And now it's coming back to me quite often, where I'm seeing that penumbra around our world, that other world that's being created around our world. I think it means two things. I think it means we are a very divided world right now. Certainly in my country here in the U.S., we're divided. But I'm seeing that around many, many places in the world. Not every country, certainly, but many, many countries. So that said, I also think it's something greater than that. You know, the Zoroastrians is a very, very ancient religion. Believed in there was the good God and the bad God, and or the good force and the bad force, and they would fight each other. There was a war against the evil force and the good force. Does it sound like Star Wars in many ways? It's an ancient, ancient, ancient thought. But in Zoroastrianism, good will always win. I think we saw that in Star Wars too, didn't we? That the good always won. I haven't seen the more modern Star Wars, so I'm going back to the original ones. But what we're seeing in our planet is we have a choice. And this week, you will have multiple choices to choose love over fear, to choose love over hate, to choose love over anything that is not love, to choose it over bitterness, and especially over fear. So what I want to challenge you with this week is I want to challenge you with, do make comments below. And if you see a comment you disagree with, how do you respond to that in love? And please let the original comments be said in love. Let me give you some examples. For example, if I come up to you, if you and I disagree about something, and I'm sure there are plenty of things we disagree about, that's human nature. A friend of mine and I disagree about climate change. Another friend and I disagree about women's rights to abortion. So there are many, many things that I disagree with people about. But I want to hear your side. I want to hear why you feel this way. What is it that makes you feel this way? And so tell me what you believe and why you believe it, but do so in a very positive, loving way. If I say to you, I want you to feel your bodies right now. I want you to feel what happens if I say to you, well, you're just wrong and you're an idiot. Woo! We do this, don't we? And we want to push back. We want to get defensive and get angry. But if I say to you in a very loving, meaningful way, I hear what you're saying. I don't agree. We have a difference of opinion here. And that's allowed. You're able to sit back and say, somebody heard my heart. Somebody heard my words. And you don't get defensive. You might even come back and say, well, why do you disagree? Let me hear what you have to say. That's the kind of dialogue I would love to see on the comments. That's the dialogue that I want in my life. I don't want anger. I don't want my head in the sand, but I don't want anger. I don't want fear. I don't mean to tell you to stuff those when they come up, and they are going to come up this week. We are really seeing changes happening this week in our personal lives. It's the opportunity for major changes. In our political worlds, major changes are cracking. We're seeing more and more cracks. We are going to see at least, we're probably going to see this week, if not this week, by next week, we will see another resignation from a appointed cabinet member, from a new cabinet member. So we will see more cracks and more resignations probably next week or maybe the week after. Could be this week. Things are moving rather rapidly. So in your own life, though, it is really important that you keep coming back to love, that you respond in love, and that you stand strong in love. Let's take a moment and see what Philip has to say. By the way, the weather patterns haven't changed, so I'm not even going to go there. We're still going to expect some severe weather around the world, but especially across the U.S. here. Okay. You know, this is a book of oracles. It's the Master's Book of Answers by Philip, who happens to be my spirit guide. And each page has a different answer. So we think left or right page. So ready? I'm just going to start flipping. You got your left or right thought going? I'm hearing right, and I'm hearing to stop right there. Okay, thank you. God is the reality behind every appearance. God is the reality behind every appearance. Regardless of what or who you think God is, whether you believe God is a religious God, God is spirit, God is love, maybe even you believe God is science. Whatever you believe your God is, by whatever word, God is behind every appearance. So my friends, remember, what is happening in our world, we can change it by remembering it's not our human selves that we want to live from. It is our spiritual selves that we want to live through. We want that spiritual self to come through our human self and live from the human self through the spiritual self. That's not always easy. And this week, you will have many opportunities to do that. It's really simply living in love. For those of you who thought left, I'm going to read that one too. I saw that very quickly, and I think it's important for what we've been saying. As you think of yourself, so you become. As you think of yourself, so you become. Oh, my friends, think of yourself as the truth of who and what you are. You are love. I am love. We all are love. Express that first of all to yourself, because you're the most important person in your life. You are love, my friend, and I love you. Love yourself, and let that love spread out. This week, every day, every moment, if need be. Please remind yourself, remember, I give and I receive love. I give you love today, my friends, and I thank you so much for receiving it. I love you. I love you. Thank you.